I hope we answered the question. I will answer the last one, and then we go to the flow, back to the flow. The question about, is there any thumb rule on valuation? I will post in 10x2 in LinkedIn a file that you could answer your question, because this needs a few hours to be discussed. And there are different valuations for depending on the stage of the startup, scale up, later stage. So there is no one way, but the file I will post is very relevant and will give answer to your question. So please go to 10x2 tomorrow, 10x2 in LinkedIn. If you go LinkedIn and you take 10x2, you can find it, you can see the file. Okay, can we go to the next question, Andrea, number 4? We come back to participant questions later. Maybe we haven't, before you go there, we have a question, Paul, Andrea.
Sure, we start poll now.
Yes.
Participants, you will see some questions now on your screen. It would be great if you could answer. It's about how relevant and how interesting the webinar has been for you so far. Please take a moment to answer. We'd really love your feedback as guidance.
Andrea, if I may,
Yeah.
we may also like to poll Thursday versus Saturday from people.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks.
Mike, would you be able to create it, the poll, while people answer?
I think the answer is done, right? End of polling. We can. Yes.
No. I mean,
Yes,
Mike, would
yes.
you be able to create a poll Thursday versus Saturday?
Yes, I will do.
Thank you.
Let's end this poll and then let's continue the discussion first, okay?
Sure. Well, about half of the participants have voted. I'd like to ask for a final push. Let's see if we can get to 70% in a few seconds. No, okay. I think people wanted to vote have voted, so let me show the results. Great. So the majority are in interesting or very interesting or even top. I think this is the answer. Can you all see the answer?
Yes, we can definitely.
Yeah. Great. Okay. Great. Then we can move forward to 4.
Can
right?
you stop?
Yeah.
Can you stop? Yes. So I go to the 4th. So here we have 2 questions that the most of the participants asked questions. The first one is how to survive as a startup scale up during a pandemic year. This question is coming back every time. So if you could give an answer in 1 or 2 minutes, Raj and Avijit, and I will focus on the polling.
Actually, I'll take it because we have navigated these waters even before pandemic. I would say that first of all, it's COVID or no COVID. Every entrepreneur always have to work with the concept of cash reserves and with a horizon of saying that, even if you don't make revenues, the fundamental philosophy of saying that, we know that we can survive for the next quarter, 2 quarters is a very important thing. We have seen even a lot of well-funded startups burning money left, right, and center, hoping that Series B will happen, Series C will happen, and sometimes they get lucky. And at Series D, they completely go to zero. We have seen many such stories. So it's entrepreneur's role actually has a lot more responsibility than we can think. It is very important for that entrepreneur to always say that I'm going to save for a rainy day. I'm going to make sure that I stand responsible for all the families that are dependent on this institution, because end of the day, you are navigating the ship. So it is very important that COVID just is an example of what can happen in life. But it is very important for entrepreneurs to have that horizon and say that even if you don't make money, how can the company survive the next 3 to 6 months? A lot of times we think that we would like to, push as much as we can, and we stretch towards that nth limit, and then after that you don't see the road. That's a bad thing. You always have to have plan B, plan C, plan D. One door shuts, immediately try to knock the second door. Constantly reinvent yourself, have the agility, but constantly make sure that there is a paycheck coming in. For 5 years that I've run, I made sure that first of month, for 60 months, first of the month, every single person got their paycheck. It's very important for the founder to show that stability and say that this business means something to you. So I would say that COVID or no COVID, that financial discipline and the forecast and ability to manage funds has to be the basic ingredients every founder should have.
Fantastic. Thanks, Raj, for sharing. I'll talk about from the scale-up side, because as 10x2, that's the kind of founders we deal with. Let's say at an early stage, post-revenue growth stage, roughly, let's talk about somewhere between 750K to $20 million per annum. Now, everybody is hit post-pandemic, and somehow or the other, certain business models have been affected. Certain startups have reinvented themselves and figured out new business models and all. And so there is some great stuff coming out of it. But given the strain it has had on the world economy, I think more M&As are more relevant than before. Startup founders should have their ears and eyes open for opportunities for M&A even more now, because exactly the reason why what Raj said. If you have true entrepreneurial spirit at heart and are worried about the paycheck of your team and ensuring that those who've trusted you and their families are taken care of, then you should be looking out for M&As if there is strain. Now, on the other side, not everybody is going to get acquired, right? There are reasons for it. Some people are looking out for it. Now, those who have a chance or have a better chance is either your IP should be unique, two, you have infrastructure and geographical coverage, which the corporate may not, and that's inorganic growth for them. Or you have discovered a new business model, which is disrupting the marketplace, and the traditional companies would like to play ball on that new business model. So look at yourself in terms of what's unique if you're a startup, and whether that fits into an M&A proposition or not. And that's, do some introspection, and that's key. Thanks. Thanks, Mike.
Very good. Avijit, maybe one more quick question that you can take, or even Andrea can take. How important is for startups to have sustainability focus in the current time and in the future years?
Sure, Mike. So Andrea can add on. I'll just quickly talk about sustainability a bit, because that's what we are as 10x2 in the business of it. Now, I'll keep aside the emotional aspects of it and why it feels good to think of the planet. I'll talk about the economics of it, all right? Now, world over, because we are seeing a few trends, as we say in 10x2, macro trends. The world is urbanizing very rapidly, which is not sustainable anymore. The climate is changing, and that's because of the abuse to sustainability. The world is aging, and as scientists predict, there are 2,000 more viruses waiting to be uncovered as the ice melts in Antarctica. So given all that as mega trends and where we are, it's time that we looked at things in a sustainable manner. And there is a guiding template for it, which is the UN Sustainability Goals, corporates are understanding the value of it to play in the new sustainable economy and shed the old traditional economy. And things are moving faster because of it. I mean, for instance, there are huge funds being deployed. I'm just one small example, women entrepreneurs. And I can tell you in markets like Vietnam and Indonesia, the impact to the economy it has is measurable. And there is value in playing in the sustainability space even more going forward. Back to you, Mike.
Thank you very much. I propose to go back. We have a few interesting questions. When we say synergies, what do we ideally mean? 1 + 1 = 3 is a cliche we usually hear, but can we have some examples of synergies per se? Okay, so I will maybe I will ask also Raj to explain your example, right? If you can, without going to massive confidentialities. How can you, let's say, if you could answer this, the 1 + 1 = 3 with one example, let's not make it too long, and I will add another example, okay? Yeah.
See, very simple. Sometimes 1 + 1 = 3, or 1 can be 11, or 1 + 1 = 2. It all depends on how you look at it. In case of Titan, in the recent example that I'm going through right now, Titan has a great brand. Titan has consumer presence all over in every single tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 cities in India. So the kind of the offline and online presence that they have, we could not make it happen. But what they were missing is the technology piece. Like, they were heavily dependent on China in order to actually make their technology, or travel through. Now with Hug Innovations coming in place, we could really streamline in less than 1 year. We actually built a lot of things that they could not even imagine. Now here 1 + 1 = 11 or 3 makes perfect sense, because there was a piece that was missing, which is the heart, which is the technology, but they had everything else that can take this rocket to the sky. So sometimes that's a perfect match that you can make.
Fantastic. Let me give another example. If you have the technology or the process and the competence to half the time of product development, and when you merge, you help the acquiring company to deliver the products to the market in half of the time, automatically you create not 1 + 1 = 3, 1 + 1 can be 5 or 10 even, right? And this is an example which I have experienced. Another example is you have the products or the solutions that complement the existing products, and when you add them together, you become much stronger to the distribution channel. The corporate world, the corporate entity is, and when you become much stronger, the whole portfolio automatically you become, it's more than 1 + 1 = 3. It's very big. Avijit, I don't know if you have any quick one from your side.
Oh, sure, Mike.
It's a very good question. Yes.
It's a great question. So I'll give an exact example. So in the media business, advertising revenue is dependent on viewership, right? So if you're a television channel, then the number of television viewers as basis Nielsen TRP ratings. If you are a digital media, it's at some levels, it used to be 10 years back, basis eyeballs and monthly visitors. Now, in the case of example is that Viva News and TV1, the two news-focused media entities in Indonesia, one being a television channel, the other being a website, had their individual viewers and their individual ad revenues. When they combined the two, because the numbers became so large, over a period of 2 years, their ad revenues actually became 5x for two reasons. Going to the WPP groups of the world, they had more leverage with the advertising agencies, because the numbers were the sum of the two became large enough for them to package it together and sell, like Times of India Group does across print, television, and digital. They created similar packages. Number two is the data. So the data that the viewership data that they could harness from both and combined look at new ways of segmentation and statistics helped them create a lot more intelligent targeted packages, which worked. So that's the Mike example that I like to give. Thanks.
Thank you. I hope we answered this question with four examples or 5. I would like to go to this question. What are steps or measures that are necessary on preparation stage for successful M&A integrations? I think we covered this, but I would like to summarize one more time what we covered, right? First of all, you need to know why you merge. Very, very important. You need to know the operational business models, the similarities, differences. You need to do a serious due diligence. It's both sides. You cannot expect only due diligence from the corporate to the most traditional is the corporate with the scale up, but as a scale up, you need to do your own due diligence. You need to understand the cultural differences. You need the process difference, the business model difference. During the due diligence process, you need to try to understand more both sides. So in other words, it's a very good planning and the reason of the merging, the benefits of the merging, the end game has to be very, very clear. Cultural, how to bridge the two cultures together. You need to feel sure that it's possible to achieve something together. I hope we answered this question. If not, please write back and we can cover more. Let me see the time. I don't know if Vijit or Raj. So the answer is thank you very much. Here comes the question. The question about the IT. Can someone tell me the implications of M&A deal for an IT provider? By the way, I don't think there is any difference with that, but if Avijit or Raj, you would like to give an answer to this one. Welcome.
Yeah, so typically in an IT provider, this is more on IT, more in the sense of infrastructure providing. So most of the M&As that I personally have seen in this space are towards either consolidation of assets or consolidation of customers. Honestly, that is where this kind of mergers have happened. So please be very careful on this, because most of these mergers are done with the motto of how do I make sure that in sense, like, the acquirer is able to consolidate and create a better profit motive. A lot of layoffs and a lot of consolidation on technology happens because there will be a lot of redundancy in this kind of an IT provider space. So if at all you are merging and you're an IT provider, please be extremely careful and watch out on what kind of a merger is this. Maybe is it because they don't have that certain specialist service, then they are merging. It's a different story. But if you are a generalist and if they are a generalist, then please watch out for a bloodbath, because I do not have a better way to say this, and I'm not trying to sugarcoat, and I'm being very honest, because I've seen billion-dollar mergers on IT consolidation that has happened, even in the companies where I was part of a large insurance company where another large insurance company purchased them. But in the IT consolidation, a lot of bloodbath happened. So again, just watch out for that from the experience. So there was one question on, is there a benchmark for validation? Did we answer that?
Valuation. I said I'm going to answer it by tomorrow, posting a file explaining 10 different valuation methods in different stages. So it's a very long story. That's why I avoid to answer this like that. Yes.
But Raj, if you want to touch upon valuation some way, go ahead. Go ahead, man.
I just want to say 3 things. Even when I was part of the mergers also, what I've seen is, when you look at your entire revenue, first of all, how do you value your company and what are the benchmarks for valuation is? There is a portion of money that comes from your services. There's a portion of money that comes because you have customers that you have acquired, and there is a potential on upselling and cross-selling from based on your customers. And the third dimension is there is an IP revenue. Actually, you should not look at the whole sum and then create a benchmark. Each one of these pockets have a different premium towards it. Services revenues typically have a benchmarking of 1.5 to 1.8x on the top line, whereas IP can go 18, 20, 25x, 30x. It all depends on the patent that you have and how much of your service revenue is actually IP led. That makes all the differentiator, and how secure is your IP and how unique it is. The other dimension to look at is the customer base. If your customer base is active and then how much potential you have or how much traction could you make on acquiring your customers sooner, and what is your retention of customers. That also gives you a different premium. So you have to look at piecemealing this and trying to create valuation separately so that you're in a better position to get it. As Mike said, it's a long answer, but since I've attempted, I'm giving 3 simple fundamentals.
Thank you. Thank you. I can add also another 3 and I will just another 4. We get a couple of hours. If you would, honestly, the subject is coming back always. That's why we'll address it with a serious file. I have found a very good one. It's about 10 different types of valuation depending on the stage of the company. So we go to the next poll before we go to the last chapter, chapter 5, which is a goodies. First the poll, Andrea, it's ready.
Mike, I need to ask, one second. Oh yes, I'm launching it now. So this poll is about when you prefer to attend our seminars. We've done it during the week and during the weekend, and yeah, we'd like to hear from you when it's best to spend time and learn together.
Can you please all answer? It's very, very important. Normally we did the last 3 webinars, we did Friday, and it's the first time we do Saturday, and strange enough, we have seen a reduction of 60% of participants on Saturday. We thought that Saturday would be easier. So, wow. So this group is, so Friday we had 150 participants every Friday. And today, Saturday, we have only 50. This is very strange.
Okay, I will
still you say the majority is 58. Okay, yeah, please.
Yeah. So.
So maybe we need bigger size of. Okay, good.
Mike,
Yes.
we need to ask the guys who joined up on Thursday.
Yeah.
We need to have a poll with them. Yeah.
No, it's Fridays always. No, Friday. We did 3 times Friday.
Yeah, Friday.
Thursday.
Correct, Friday.
Okay, yes. So we go to the last. Andrea, go to the presentation 5, and then we need to ask. No, before you go to 5, maybe you ask the other question, Andrea. The last question.
Mike, are you saying
we ask the Q&A? The Q&A. No, the Q&A.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah. Well, looking forward to the next webinar. You gave us your preference for day. Now, I'd like to ask you to give us your preference for topics. And how to do that? Please enter a topic in the Q&A, just like you were entering questions before. Now enter a topic. And if when you are entering a topic, you see there's already someone else who has shared a topic that you like, instead of entering it again, just upvote it. There is the thumbs up. So yes, please go ahead now and enter your preferred next topic for next time in the Q&A. Okay, so we have one on valuation. If others also want valuation, you can just upvote that. Yeah, there you go. Some people are voting. Other topics. So before we did, we did a variety of topics, but not valuation indeed.
In the meantime, Andrea, could we address the 5th question? Maybe Raj and Mike.
Sure, of course. Yeah, shall we go ahead? Yeah, people can keep suggesting topics.
Yes, good. Continue.
Yeah, people can keep suggesting topics in the Q&A.
We need more topics than only valuation, right?
Yes.
Okay, so can you go to number 5? Number 5 is not a question, Abhijit. It's just the 8 golden lessons of successful impacts, opportunities of threats with Brexit. I think that's a bit beyond our theme. The theme, just for your information, the theme is innovation through M&A, and we focus between corporates and startups and scale-ups. So that's our focus. The innovation is happening in the periphery at this moment in the startups and scale-ups, and then there is a lot of potential for growth of the innovation ecosystem by merging corporates with startups and scale-ups. So I don't know if this Brexit story, we can cover this here. I think we are a bit too far away. But also is not really part of the M&A. So, yeah. Okay, Andrea, next page. I don't think we get more ideas. Next page is the questions we covered already. And the next page is, the next webinar will be sometime in July. And here you see we have 8 points we consider very valuable for any partnership or merger and acquisition, merger between startups, scale-ups, and corporates, that especially startups and scale-ups we need to take into account. And this practically ends our webinar for today. I would like to thank you very much, Raj, for your wisdom. You are extremely experienced with both corporates and startups. This is a very valuable experience. And not many people have that, so enjoy it, and please share more of your wisdom for others to learn, because we are going to this direction. Avijit, thank you so much. The same for you, startups, scale-ups, India, Singapore, Indonesia. Andrea, thank you very much for guiding us, and thank all the participants for participating, asking questions, and helping us to understand more what is alive in the world of startups, scale-ups, and corporates and M&A in general. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Raj. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.